Well, hi, I'm Gary Mount. I'm speaking to you from Princeton, New Jersey. I'm a farmer here. We farm, I guess you say, multi-crop farming. I'm a retail market farmer. We sell all of our crops here to the customer, and everything that we try to market the same way. Like I'm speaking to you from our winery. That's one of our most recent things. And we do that the same way too. So we produce everything and then we sell it to the people that come here. We don't ship it, we don't pack it. And fortunately, we live in an area where there's a lot of people, and a lot of people come here. So it has worked out pretty well. Now, we started here in 1975, and we had a 50-acre farm. And I think it wasn't much bigger than 50 acres when IFTA visited for a summer tour. But we have now expanded, purchased other properties. We now have 250 acres. And but we've always worked on the retail farm marketing aspect of things. And in doing that, I think some of that stuff we maybe been pioneers in it. It's been beneficial for us. If you get a lot of rainy weather like the 2023 crop year, then it's a little difficult. But generally speaking, for almost 50 years, it's been the way to go around here. And by here, I mean central New Jersey. We have a lot of people living in this area. Our farms are all in New Jersey's preservation program, farmland preservation program. We grow a lot of different crops, maybe 50 plus crops, which might sound crazy, but back when we started farming in 1975, we only had 3 crops: apples, peaches, and pears. And we did make apple cider, so we had 4 things to sell throughout the year. Well, that sounds crazy now, but that's the way it was. And along the way, between then and now, we found that, yeah, you need to have more things to get people to come. That it didn't make sense for them to burn 2 gallons of gas to come and get 1 gallon of cider. So we started growing different crops, different fruits, started growing vegetables. And we also got into doing things on the farm that we thought would encourage people to come here. Today we call that agritainment or agritourism. But for us, it was just a matter of sharing our farm with the public. And the public is a lot. We get like 700,000 people a year come to our farm. And they'd like to be in here. They see it as a safe place. They see it as a place, as a resource for them where they can get their food, but also a place where they can see and they can teach their kids where food comes from. So they come, and that's good for us. Now, as far as the crops, we start our first crop is asparagus every year. And then we end up with apples and pumpkins in the fall. But as things have changed, it's become very varied. There are new techniques now. Most farmers know about what we call high tunnels, which extends the season on both ends. You get earlier crops, and you also get later crops that protects them from the cold weather. We also have crops that grow all winter long. And we have spinach and kale, that sort of crop that sometimes we can pick that all winter without any let up. So it becomes a year-round thing. I first became acquainted with IFTA when I first started farming. And I probably went to my first meeting in the late 1970s. But my experience in farming was pretty sketchy at first. I grew up on a farm. I knew how to work on the farm. I had very little training in what I was doing. I just knew how to work. But And when I started farming, the other members of my family were no longer involved. My father had died. I got to know other farmers in the New Jersey area. And then several of us got the idea, well, we'd go out to Grand Rapids and to this thing called IFTA. And so we did. And that's when I learned about how beneficial it is to learn things from other farmers. I started with the airplane ride out there, and I sat next to a farmer who was a friend of my father's. He is a fruit grower in New Jersey, and I learned more in that airplane, I think, than I learned almost anywhere. But then going to IFTA, the story of IFTA is really electric because it's the story of farmers doing something really first-rate and on their own. They don't have grant money. They don't have government support. They're doing education and promotion and research on their own. And I've always been so thrilled to be part of an organization that where the farmers are doing it for themselves. And for many years, including the years I was on the IFTA board for 11 years. I followed Evan Milburn on the board then, and then I became involved with the what was called the Rootstock Research Committee. Now we just call it the Research Committee. But again, I was thrilled. The farmers were putting up the money that we could award to researchers to do work in our field. And the research committee was to review the proposals and award the funds. That was amazing. So this research committee, this is a research committee, and it's made up of farmer members of IFTA. It's also made up of people in the research field and people in the nursery field, all working together to try and evaluate proposals for projects of research that would be most beneficial to the farmers. Now, I've been chairman of the research committee for quite a few years. I guess it's more than 20 some years now. But the money has always just come from the farmers one way or another. And each year money has been raised to award to researchers who might do projects in our field. I realized along the way, about 2012, I think, that we really needed a better source of funding, and we started a research foundation. We started raising money from the farmers. We were not bashful about asking for money. And so we were, for quite a period of time now, we've been asking for money each year for current projects, but also money to boost the endowment. We're over $500,000 now, and the idea is to raise money to have a income stream that would be able to supplement the research projects. IFTA has been instrumental in making our farm a success, particularly for me, because there aren't very many other farmers around here that growing apple. There's not much I can learn from neighboring farms because there aren't any. And it's only by going and meeting farmers in other areas that I've been able to find new things to try here on the farm. All the ideas about techniques and equipment that I brought back, I've put into use here at our farm. And most of them have worked out pretty well. Some not, but most have. And without this ability, this opportunity to interchange with other farmers, other fruit growers throughout the country and throughout the world, a lot of the things that we do that I just take as commonplace now, I would never have had any idea about doing. So it's been a big help to us here. Some of the things that I would say I learned were the techniques and the mastery of the methods that can be used in growing tree fruit, particularly apples. I had no way of learning those things right here at home, but the whole thing about dwarf fruit stocks, the whole thing about the different systems that we've now become exposed to, being more productive ways to grow apples, basically ways to make more money growing apples, and it's worked. Now, we haven't had too much of that going on here in New Jersey because it's not a major apple growing state. But times are changing, and there are more and more apple growers here. They're taking advantage of a lot of the techniques that have been put out there by IFTA. And so a lot of these smaller farms that you might find in New Jersey are doing pretty well because they're using very good techniques that they've learned through exposure to the rootstock information, the variety information, and the systems of growing information that comes through IFTA. Well, so I've been here doing this almost 50 years, and I grow all these other crops, maybe 50 some different crops. I still think of myself as an apple guy, and IFTA has helped me to be the best that I can be. I became Outstanding Fruit Grower of the Year in 2005. That was a thrill for somebody from New Jersey, somebody who didn't have formal training in apple growing, to get something like that. I later became, as well as my involvement with the foundation and raising this money, and my involvement with the research committee, I also received the Hall of Fame award through IFTA, and that was a thrill. But if people want to get involved, they can really get the information that they need, and that's my message: is you have to take the time and become involved. I have 2 daughters involved here, and that's my goal, is to get them involved with IFTA. Okay, I'll never be ready to stop.